Before we start today's video, I wanted to let you all know about a bet one of my friends has with her husband. Her channel name is Renelations. She does regular streams and covers news topics. The bet is that if she, before the end of this calendar month, can get to 2,000 subscribers, she can put makeup on her husband, or simply do her husband's makeup, and I'm all in favour of this. So please consider subscribing to her. They're actually quite an interesting couple, so check them out. Now the subject of today's video, now that I have dealt with that, is one of those typical injustices that we have grown to love on this channel. Thoroughly disgraced woman handed a 2-year suspended sentence for having sex with students. I am not entirely sure in what universe this sentence is in any way adequate for the crime committed. The very fact it says sex with students concerns me. But let's not forget here, we have covered these kind of stories before, with teachers, female teachers no less, that have had, quote, sex with students. It's not sex with students, it's a sex offence. And grooming. A woman who slept with 5 students at the prestigious New South Wales school won't spend any further time in custody after being handed a 2-year suspended sentence by a judge who said she had been thoroughly disgraced. So what? How the public has treated her because of the nature of the crime does not in any way mean she should not spend any time behind bars. This doesn't happen with male teachers who do it. It does not happen with any other sex offender. So why is this teacher, like many other female teachers, given a pass? The 25-year-old pleaded guilty in April to 6 counts of sexual intercourse with a person under her care, and 3 counts of aggravated sexual intercourse. Before anyone accuses me of not doing my research, I am well aware that the age of consent is 16 in Australia, but as this article indicates, victims aged from 15 to 18, and the teacher is 25. I believe sex offender is accurate, and therefore she should be summarily punished with a custodial term. And to cement this, as the crime happened in Australian Capital Territory, it is an offence to have sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 16. It is also an offence to have sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 18 if that person is under the care of the offender, i.e. guardian or teacher. The penalty for this comes directly from the Sentencing Council, where it says the maximum penalty for taking part in an act of sexual penetration with a child under the age of 16 in the absence of any statutory aggravating factor has historically remained constant at 10 years imprisonment. This is derived in the segment about sexual penetration with a child between the ages of 10 and 16 and under the care, supervision or authority of the offender. How is a suspended 2-year sentence, cause feelings, in any way fair? The answer is it is not. In the New South Wales District Court, the woman's barrister Greg Heathcott argued she was under duress at the time because of the threat the students would report her if she stopped sleeping with them. Am I the only person who sees right through this and says, get the cunts expelled if that is true? But acting judge Christopher Armitage said, the woman who can't be named for legal reasons even though she's been convicted, so surely she should be name-shamed and publicly shamed, although she's on a sex offenders register, so I'm sure her name is there. Exchanged texts with the boys that suggested enthusiastic participation. Wow. I mean, I got why the boys wanted to do you, because that's pretty much what every teenage boy wanted to do with their teacher if she was hot. Mine was hot. I don't think she thought I was hot, though. Too many tentacles. In any case, if she was under duress, which is a weak argument because of the text messages which undermine this and therefore surely mean a suspended sentence is now definitely inadequate, she should have gone straight to her superior and indicated this, and then lost her job, and taken her licks, because now I want to know what started it to begin with. Did you come on to them, or did they come on to you and you simply let them? And by the way, because it's multiple boys, I have to ask, was there some kind of clique between teenage boys and you, where they passed you around like a treat? Sounds like sloppy seconds anyway. He said the situation looked like a young woman who welcomed the attention. Quotes, it looks like a young woman who is caught in a cascade of events from which she sees no escape. Acting judge said, aside from imprisonment, the woman suffered other forms of punishment, including having her name added to the sex offenders register. So, she was going to be on that the moment she was done. But being put in prison and potentially going through some kind of rehabilitation would be advisable, as well as being kept far, far away from teenage boys. Quotes, that's going to follow her for the rest of her life, as the defendant sobbed in the dock. Despite the woman being subject to a non-publication order, acting judge Armitage considered the publicity around the case to have also served as a form of punishment. I think we all know, had this been a male teacher with female students, this would not be what would happen. The conclusion of this case would be publicly named, publicly shamed, told to simply take it, many years in prison, and on the sex offenders register, of course, for life. This is an absolute farce. And I don't care about public shaming. I really don't. She committed the crime. There are consequences. In this instance, the consequence is up to 10 years in prison. And that's just for the one case where the boy was under 16. I haven't even considered adding the others in yet. And I should, because I think that's a few more years on that sentence. Acting Judge Armitage said the case involved extremely unusual circumstances, including the very small age difference between the woman and the boys. No, it's not a small difference. It's almost 10 years. That is grooming from a very privileged position. Yes, I'm well aware now someone's going to add, yes, but if the boys were of age, yeah, I probably would have ignored this, to be honest. It's still a form of grooming, but one of them was underage, and therefore prison is accurate and only right. And I know the excuse of the woman being psychologically vulnerable at the time was used. I see it in the article. It is not a good enough reason to fuck children. I know many could bring up why the age of consent is 16. Surely it could be lowered. It's not for a reason. Get over yourself. The woman's mother told the court the school had not taken correct responsibility but admitted her daughter made a horrendous error of judgment. No. It is not a horrendous error of judgment. It is taking advantage of children. Asked if she had anything to say to the victims' families, the mother said the school displayed an absolute failure to fulfill a duty of care to a junior unqualified member of staff. Wow. Shifting the blame onto the person who you felt was being manipulated into having sex with minors and a bunch of students. Right. Isn't that victim? No, it's not quite victim blaming. It's something like that. How very quaint. The woman admitted her daughter bore major responsibility for what occurred. Congratulations. Crown Prosecutor Max Pincott asked the woman if she understood the extent of the victim's grief, to which she replied, I haven't spoken with the boys. I don't know them. The mother has since said her daughter was struggling to deal with the suicide of a friend at the time and was depressed due to a terminated pregnant. Oh, that's such a difficult one to work with. Okay, I get that when put in a remarkably difficult position, emotions make us do stupid things. But based on the text message, this was not something that simply happened one time. And if your excuses now, I used them as a coping mechanism for what happened, then I'm inclined to believe you less and less and wish that you had in fact got 10 years. No amount of remorse will make up for the fact that, even at your lowest, you were willing to break the law to feel a bit better. It would have been easier for you to turn to drugs, and I'm not recommending people do that. It's just better than fucking kids. Honestly, multiple excuses have been created in this story, and as far as I'm concerned, not one of them is adequate. Not one of them truly explains why you felt the need to abuse your position of trust, to break the law multiple times with multiple boys. So for me, you belong in prison. And for those that are interested, it was either this or something tweeted out by the South Yorkshire Police, but I might save that for tomorrow now, along with that everyday feminism thing that I had forgotten to cover as well. So, now that I've gotten that out of my system, let me know in the comments below what you think about this case. Let me know what you think about the sentence, which I believe is a farce and an embarrassment. I thought this came from the United Kingdom and to us or New South Wales. So I hope everyone has a lovely Tuesday, and thank you all for listening.
Oh, goddowns.
In your arse.
Imagine my shock